Good afternoon in Missouri. I'm Jessica Porter, and you're watching KOMU 8 News at noon. After days of witness testimony and arguments, the jury has finally reached a verdict in the Sergei Kamzan case. KOMU 8's Gabrielle Hayes is live in St. Charles with the latest. Gabrielle.
Just a few hours ago, the jury reached a not guilty verdict in the Kamzan trial. Kamzan was found not guilty on charges of involuntary manslaughter in the death of Missouri State Trooper James Bava and resisting a lawful arrest. This all comes after days of witness testimony and arguments made by both the defense and the prosecution. Closing arguments were made yesterday, and the jury went on to deliberate at about noon. The jury started up again this morning at about 8:15, and the verdict came soon after that.
I can't even get to comprehend. This case was never personal for me in that respect at all. I don't have any criticism for my son. It's just a young fellow, 25 years old. Great young kid, great young fellow. I feel for him, I really do. I'm a father. So.
We grew to love James as a prosecuting team. We did our absolute best to honor him, and we're disappointed in the verdict, and we're sorry we couldn't deliver it for you.
Kamzan left the courthouse immediately after the verdict. His family and friends waited out in the hallway and prayed. Reporting live in St. Charles, Gabrielle Hayes, KOMU 8 News.
A committee investigator into Governor Greitens is moving ahead unanimously. The committee will have a subpoena power for witness and evidence. The group will have 40 days to investigate. Republican Representative Jay Barnes will chair the committee. He fielded questions from other state reps yesterday. A colleague asked him to explain the impeachment process, but Barnes refused. He says witnesses and evidence hearings will be completely closed to the public, so future witnesses do not hear what past witnesses said. And Governor Greitens is under another investigation, this time for suspicious activity connected to a veterans charity he founded called The Mission Continues. Records obtained by the AP show Greitens used the charity's email address to arrange political meetings in 2015. That was just before he launched his first bid for public office. Greitens was on the charity's board of directors at the time, and he sent 3 emails to political consultants. Federal tax laws prohibit charities from participating in any political campaigns. The Senate is considering a bill that would relocate all of Missouri's Confederate monuments to a historical site in Higginsville. Senate Bill 584 would move approximately 40 statues that are spread throughout the state to the Confederate Memorial. The bill is sponsored by Democratic Senator Jamila Nasheed and went to a General Laws Committee on Wednesday. A U.S. Air Force veteran and intern for Senator Nasheed says history shouldn't be erased, but the monuments should be preserved.
It allows for the monuments to be preserved and possibly not face any more, defacing or anything of that nature. But it also says, hey, we see you. We see you, and we see the persecution that you face, and we recognize that.
KOMU 8 reached out to Republican senators, but they declined to comment on the bill. University of Missouri officials announced layoffs yesterday. Faculty explained they were a precaution to extreme budget cuts, but as KOMU 8's Claire Kopsky reports, that doesn't ease non-tenure track faculty's nerves.
It's frustrating and depressing.
If the budget changes, the non-renewals may not happen. The university sent the emails because by law it has to give faculty 90 days ahead. Multiple bills that would change how the state addresses environmental issues are in the state's legislature. The Osage Group Sierra Club met in Columbia last night to voice its concerns with the bills. The club discussed bills about the water supplies, the statutes of state parks, and how cities control plastic waste. Representative Kip Kendrick attended the meeting, and he said he supports the club's stance on the issues. The group is concerned that the water supply will suffer if cities can't restrict the use of plastic.
Businesses want to have uniformity across the state. They don't want Columbia to ban plastic bags, ban plastic cups, because they'd have to have a different system for food containers in Columbia compared to the rest of the state.
The next hearing for that bill is on March 6th. Let's get a check from Tim with the latest forecast. Tim, what's going on out there?
It's pretty comfortable here in mid-Missouri. Lots of sunshine, high price.
Breaking news out of Central Michigan University, where police say 2 people are dead after shots fired in a dorm on campus. The campus is on lockdown as police search for a person of interest. According to police, the deceased are not students. Police believe the situation started from a domestic situation. The suspect is considered to be armed and dangerous. And after a string of school threats, a sheriff in Florida wants students and parents to pay up. Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood said not only will offenders face criminal charges, but they or their families will also be held responsible for paying costs for officers responding. That often adds up to at least $1,000. The sheriff's office says in some cases the true cost could be higher depending on resources required. In the last 3 weeks, 15 students were charged with making violent threats about false statements about guns in the area. An Arizona prison was on lockdown overnight after inmates set fire inside the medium security corrections center. According to the Arizona Department of Corrections, inmates attacked prison personnel, throwing rocks, setting fires and mattresses, and breaking into the prison health unit. Corrections officers later said all employees are safe and accounted for. An investigation into the disturbance could lead to some criminal charges for the inmates involved. And from the mid-Atlantic, a storm is bearing down on the East Coast. Forecasters say heavy rain, snow, and powerful winds could pound the region. In Boston, workers were busy filling sandbags to put in flood-prone areas. In Milford, Connecticut, storm drains were cleared as officials are concerned of a repeat of October's flooding. Along the Jersey Shore, it was time to board up. Authorities in some coastal areas of Massachusetts are urging residents to evacuate the area.
You evacuate and go to friends, family, somewhere away from the danger of the tides.
The Mid-Atlantic is preparing for a potentially historic windstorm. Gusts could be up to 60 miles per hour. Potomac Electric Power Company says it has extra crews ready to deal with power outages, and authorities say anyone in the storm's path needs to be ready to go if the lights go out. On the other side of the country, the West Coast is expecting its own wrath of bad weather. Thousands of residents in Southern California are preparing to evacuate as a powerful storm is expected to hit in the coming days. Many of the mountainsides in the Ventura country are still burned from the deadly fires late last year and a mudslide scare in December. Residents and public safety officials are setting up sandbags and makeshift water channels to help collect the heavy rainfall that's expected to total up to 3 inches. Police officers went door to door Thursday, issuing mandatory evacuations for Goleta, Santa Barbara, Montecito, Summerland, and Cupertino. While some residents say they feel safe enough on high ground, others are prepared to leave.
We aren't going to wait till somebody says evacuate. We would go before. We have several friends who died in the mudslides in Montecito.
The weekend storm comes nearly 2 months after mud flows killed 21 people in Montecito. The Red Cross opened evacuation shelters and reminds residents that their services are free of charge. And thousands of residents in Western Virginia are without power after a series of explosions at a power substation. Workers say a tree that fell on power lines caused a blown transformer. Due to the power outages, several area schools were closed. Crews estimate repairs will last throughout much of the day today. And a blackout hit Puerto Rico's capital and surrounding areas right after the U.S. territory's main power plants shut down. Its failure that came amid warnings from officials. The power company is struggling to remain operational. Puerto Rico's Electric Power Authority tweeted the plants shut down to protect the electrical system, but said it was unclear what caused the shutdown. More than 970,000 people live in the areas hit by the blackout. This all comes as several customers remain in the dark nearly 6 months after Hurricane Maria destroyed 2/3 of the island's power distribution system. And you're taking a live look over Columbia Regional Airport. KOMU News at noon will be back after this.
Track storms where
Uber has launched a new service to offer rides to and from a hospital or doctor's offices. Rides are assigned from a centralized dashboard, and Uber Health does not require riders to have the Uber app or a smartphone. Reports show some 3.6 million people miss appointments each year due to the lack of transportation. And the True Falls Film Festival kicked off yesterday, and there's a new feature that you'll see, QR codes that can help with a cell phone app, that can be used with a cell phone app. It's giving moviegoers a look at something that's not on the big screen. It's through augmented reality. KOMU's Datona Everett tells us why fans might want to use their phones before heading into the films.
It's officially True Falls Film Fest time, and
now here's a look at what we're following for KOMU 8 News, first at 5 o'clock. We'll have more on the fallout from the Commerson verdict this morning. Plus, with this weekend being possibly the last weekend for Mizzou basketball fans to see Michael Porter Jr. play at Mizzou Arena, we'll let you know how to protect yourself from scammers when looking for tickets. That's coming up on KOMU 8 News at 5 o'clock.
And your forecast for this afternoon.
And if you've ever had a package stolen, you might be happy to hear Amazon can now help get your money back. Amazon has quietly rolled out a program to let delivery people take photos to confirm your items were dropped off. The photo will show exactly where the package was placed outside your door. If your package is lost or stolen, you'll be able to request a duplicate copy of the original order with the photo so you can get a refund. The program has existed for about 6 months and is available in select U.S. markets.
I have not had a package stolen. It's always been one of those fears, though, in the back of your mind because you're gone at work and for a couple of hours, is that package going to be there or not?
You just never know. It's a great service.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I'm really looking forward to it. And the weather this weekend is going to be beautiful.
Should be.
Oh my gosh, can't wait.
On air.